which the allocations are made to different sectors, and also to update information and knowledge about how our economy is heading towards. Honorable Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman presented the budget to us on 1st February 2022. And here is the presentation of like-minded people who have come, like-minded students who have come together to put across their views and highlights of the budget 2022-23. Before starting, I would like to welcome our respected HOD, ma'am, Dr. Supriya Patil, and also request her to say her a few words on this occasion.
Thank you very much. Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. And I must say, I'm very happy this afternoon for the initiative that our students have taken. It's really wonderful to listen to this. That if we want to come ahead and present something, we will have studied something which will be beneficial to all. It is for every teacher. This delightful words that we can hear our students taking interest in activities in current affairs and coming forth with this kind of a presentation. Dear students, this is our opportunity to learn. Budget is a huge exercise which is done annually in almost every organization. And for of commerce, it is very important that we all understand the finer points of budget every year because it has a very direct impact on everything that we do, our survival, our daily, every single day that whatever we do is mandated or works within the budget guidelines which are given by the union government. So I'm very proud of all of you students who have taken this initiative. And I'm not going to speak too much now because I am eager to listen to what you are going to tell me about the budget. So thank you once again for taking this initiative and go ahead.
Thank you,
Over
ma'am.
to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Before beginning with the budget, we will have a look into economic survey, which is tabled into the parliament. Let us know what exactly economic survey is. The economic survey is the annual report card of the economy. It is presented a day before budget and examines the performance of each and every sector and then suggests the future moves. The economic survey was de-linked from the budget in 1964 and unveiled in advance in order to provide a context of the budget. All the surveys have a theme, and this year's theme is Agile Approach, implemented through India's economic response to COVID-19 pandemic shock. Last year's theme was Saving Lives and Livelihood. In 2017-18, the economic survey was pink, as the theme was Women Empowerment. Economic survey consists of two parts. One includes the economic challenges the country is facing, and the second is the analysis of the year gone by. It is prepared by the Economic Division of Department of Economic Affairs and the Finance Ministry under the overall guidance of Chief Economic Advisor. Now, let us see some of the important highlights of the economic survey of 21-22.
The Indian economy is in a good position to witness GDP growth of 8 to 8.5% in 2022-2023. Agricultural growth for financial year 2022 seen at 3.9% and industrial growth at 11.8% and service at 8.2%. Overall economic activity has recovered past the pre-pandemic levels. Agriculture and allied sector have been the least impacted by pandemic. The service sector has been the hardest hit by the pandemic, especially segment that invalues human contact. Total consumption is estimated to have been grown by 7.0% with sufficient significant contribution from government spending. Startups in India have grown remarkably over the last 6 years. India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after US and China. Maharashtra has the highest number of startups at 11,308. The money raised by IPOs has been greater than what has been raised in any year in last decade by a large margin. Now we look theory and basics of budget.
Budget refers to a financial plan by an individual or an organization. Till the year 2018, the finance minister were using briefcase to carry out budget, and in 2019, Nirmala Sitharaman had presented budget with a file which has national symbol on it. Before 2016, budget was presented on the last day of February, but from 2017, budget is presented on the first day of February. In 2017, railway budget is merged with general budget. In the history of budget, the latest budget speech is given by Nirmala Sitharaman in 2020, which is about 2 hours and 40 minutes, and the smallest budget speech was given by Dr. H.M. Patel in 1977, which has only 800 words. Now let's look the team members of Union Budget 2022 and 23. Dr. T.V. Somnathan, Tarun Bajaj, Debashis Panda, Ajay Seth, and Tuhin Khan Panda are worked together with Finance Minister in Union Budget. Now let's discuss the types of budget.
So there are two major components of budget, that is revenue budget and capital budget. Under revenue budget, revenue receipts which do not directly impact on government assets and liabilities, it is called revenue receipts, such as tax income, excise duty, these are the tax revenues, and profits, dividend, interest, these are the examples of non-tax revenue. Any any expenditure by the government which doesn't create assets or liabilities are revenue expenditure, such as salaries, interest payment, pension, administrative expenses, etc. Another component is capital budget. That it includes capital receipt. It indicates the receipt which leads to decrease in assets and increase in liabilities. For example, money earned by the selling assets, Air India, and capital expenditure is used to create assets or reduce liabilities, such as long-term investment, national monetization pipeline. So these are the components of budget. Let's next. Okay. So let's see the budget procedure. Procedure of budget includes 6 major stages. Presentation of budget. Budget generally presented by Finance Minister in Lok Sabha. Budget is presented on first day of February. Finance Minister gives budget speech. Along with this, documents are to be present, such as annual financial statement, demand for grants, appropriation bill, finance bill, expenditure profile, memorandum explaining in the finance bill, budget at a glance, highlights and outcomes of budget. Next, general discussion start in both the houses. It takes time for 3 to 4 days. After discussion, 24 departmental committees examine the budget and send their report to the parliament. This is called scrutiny by the departmental committees. Next stage is voting on demand for grants. On the basis of committee's report, Lok Sabha presented demand for grants. Each grant discussed separately by the Parliament, but only Lok Sabha voted on demand for grants. As all grants voted, appropriation bill presented for the enactment. This is necessary because any withdrawal from Consolidated Fund of India. As this enactment completed, finance bill comes for enactment. This is for giving effect to financial proposal of Government of India. Finance Act legalize the income side of the budget and complete the process of enactment of budget. Such budget pass in Parliament. Over to you, my friend.
Account. The first account is Consolidated Fund of India, which is established under Article 266(1). This fund is raised by direct and indirect taxes taken by the Indian government. The government meets all its expenditure from this fund. The government needs parliamentary approval to withdraw money from this fund. Now, the second government account is Contingency Fund of India. It is established under Article 267(1) of Indian Constitution. Contingency fund is in the nature of imprest. Imprest means money maintained for a specific purpose. The Contingency Fund of India exists for disasters and related unforeseen expenditure, and its corpus is rupees 500 crores. Now the third account is Public Accounts of India. This is constituted under Article 266(2) of the Constitution. All other public money received by the Indian government are credited to this fund. This fund is made up with bank saving account of various ministries or departments, national small saving funds, defense funds, national calamity and contingency funds, provident fund, postal insurance, etc. Now let's look into India's tax system.
We all pay taxes to government in some form or the other in our daily lives. These taxes we pay play an important role in financing different functions that the government performs. The government mobilizes financial resources for funding its different activities mainly through taxes, user fees or service charges and borrowings. The source of funds which neither create liabilities nor reduce assets are called revenue receipt. Other sources of funds such as borrowing, which create liabilities, or those that reduce assets are called capital receipts. Government revenue receipt can be further divided into two categories, tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Tax revenue refers to the money collected by government through payment imposed by law. Non-tax revenue refers to the revenue of the government raised through instruments other than taxes such as fees, user charges, dividends, and profit public sector enterprises, interest receipt, penalty, or fine, etc. Taxes can be broadly classified into two kinds, direct taxes and indirect taxes. Taxes are those taxes Direct taxes are those taxes for which the burden of tax falls on the entity that big tax are known as direct taxes. Direct taxes include corporation tax, tax on personal income, securities transaction tax, capital gain tax, wealth tax, and property tax. Indirect tax are those taxes for which the tax burden can be shifted or passed on the other person later through business transaction of goods or services. Indirect tax includes excise duty, sales tax, value added tax, service tax, custom duties, GST. The tax GDP ratio. A country's tax GDP ratio is an important indicator that helps to understand how much tax revenue is being collected by the government as compared to the overall size of the economy. A higher tax GDP ratio gives more room in government's budget so that it can be spent more without borrowing. The tax GDP ratio of passing years are given in the chart. Now we look budgets 2022-2023.
The Union Budget of the year 2022 and 23 aims to strengthen the infrastructure with its focus on four priorities. While elaborating the PM Gati Shakti, the Finance Minister said that it is a transformative approach for economic growth and sustainable development. The approach is driven by seven engines, such as roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways, and logistic infrastructure. All seven engines will pull forward the economy in unison. These engines are supported by complementary roles of energy transmission, IT communication, bulk water sewerage, and social infrastructure. Finally, the approach is powered by clean energy and Sabka Prayas with the efforts of central government, state government, and the private sector together, leading to a huge job and entrepreneurial opportunities for all, especially for the youth. Similarly, the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for Expressway will be formulated in the year 22-23 to facilitate the faster movement of people and goods. The national highways network will be mobilized through the innovative ways of financing to complement the public resources. She added that the contract for implementation of multimodal logistic parks at 4 locations through the PPP mode, that is, public-private partnership, will be awarded in the year 22-23. In railways, the finance minister said that the one station, one product concept will popularize to help the local business and supply chains. Moreover, as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat, 2,000 kilometer of network will be bought under the Kavach, that is, indigenous world-class technology and capacity of augmentation in the. She also informed that 400 new generation Vande Bharat trains will with better energy and efficiency of passenger riding experience will be developed and manufactured, and 100 the cargo terminals of multimodal logistic facilities will be set up this year. Now, we look what things are included in inclusive development.
Inclusive development is the developments that includes marginalized people, sectors, and countries in social, political, and economic process for increase human well-being, social and environmental sustainability, and empowerment. Thus, in the budget, every sectors like agriculture and food processing, industry and skill development, education, health, and digital payment have been considered. In agriculture, chemical-free natural farming is promoted. Public-private partnership, Ken Betwa project, Kisan drones, and capital to finance startup for agriculture and rural enterprise have been taken into account to upgrade the basic amenity schemes and programs like Har Ghar, Nal Se Jal, Housing for All, Prime Minister Development Initiative for the Northeast Region, Vibrant Villages programs is being focused.
One of the priority area is productivity enhancement and investment, sunrise opportunity, energy transition and climate change. It aims to ensure ease of living and doing business and to attain the vision of promoting energy transition and climate action during the Amrit Kal. Sunrise opportunities include artificial intelligence, geospatial systems and drones, semiconductors and its ecosystem, space economy, genomics, and pharmaceuticals, which have immense potential to assist sustainable development at large scale and modernize the country. Budget promotes energy transition and climate action by facilitating solar power and circular economy. There is mention of transition of economy to a carbon neutral economy. Financial support is being provided to farmers to take up agroforestry. Now we'll have a look into how financing to the investment is done.
One of the priority areas in budget is financing of investment, which includes outlay for capital expenditure of rupees 7.50 lakh crore. Secondly, the effective capital expenditure of central government is estimated to be 2.9% of the GDP. Government will introduce digital rupee using blockchain and other technologies to be issued by RBI starting in the year 22-23. The outlay for scheme for financial assistance to states for capital investment is being enhanced to assist the states in catalyzing overall investment in the economy. Lastly, digitization of economy, including digital payments for completion, digital payments and completion optic fiber network has been prioritized. Now we look into the agriculture sector.
Union Budget 2022-23 Agriculture sees little cause for cheer. Overall allocation for agriculture has risen marginally. but schemes for the crop insurance (MSP) have seen a dip in funds. This budget saw limited focus on the agriculture sector and related policies. The overall allocation increased by a major 4.4% for the year, even as important schemes for crop insurance and minimum support price saw a drastic slashing of funds. The budget speech saw no mention of Union government's ambitious plan for double farm income, which reaches its deadline this year. The overall allocation for the sector increased marginally to rupees 1,32,513.62 crore in 2022-23 from the 2021-22 revised estimates of rupees 1,26,807.86 crore. The program has been restructured to include schemes like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchan Yojana, Per Drop, More Crop, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, National Project on Soil and Health Fertility, Rainfed Area Development and Climate Changes, Submission on Agriculture Mechanization, including management of crop residue. This scheme were earlier a part of the Green Revolution program. Another point is food processing. Food processing industry gets a major thrust. Food processing industry makes up 32% of the total food market, 11.6% of employment, 4.09% of output, and is the 13th largest recipient of FDI in India. The sector, however, faces key challenges such as delays in a market access, institutional gaps, lack of standardization, supply chain gaps, etc. To address these challenges and promote unhindered growth in FPI, the government had earlier released a draft national food processing policy to increase investment in the sector and promote international competitiveness. To further this vision, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced the provision of a comprehensive uh, package to help farmers select suitable varieties of fruits and vegetables and to use appropriate production and harvesting techniques.
Now we'll have a look into the education sector.
The allocation and exactly provision has made for education in recent budget. So, building smart India with quality skill. The COVID-19 pandemic impact the life of millions of students. The finance minister has mentioned supplementary teaching through additional TV channel to make up for the loss of education of the last 2 years. These improve online education. First point, digital university with universal education. Finance Minister has announced that a digital university will be established with the objective to provide accessibility to the Indian student to world-class education and modern learning experience at their doorstep. Students will be able to access the digital university in different languages and ICT formats. The university will be built on a network hub and spoke model. Second point, launch of Desh Stack e-portal, a digital ecosystem for skilling and livelihood. The Digital Desh e-portal will be launched for the skilling, upskilling, reskilling of the youth. Third point, high quality e-content through digital teachers. Through digital teachers, high quality e-content will be developed. This will be circulated through the internet mobile phones, radio, and TV as well. Fourth point, one class, one TV channel program expand from 12 to 200 TV channels. For this purpose, one class, one TV channel program of PM E-Vidya, the massive expansion will be witnessed. Now, there will be expand 200 channels dedicated to the education of the students. This will equip the state to provide supplementary education to the student from classes 1 to 12. Fifth point, startup to facilitate Drone Shakti for drone as a service. In select ITIs in all states, the required courses for skilling will be started. 6.750 virtual labs in science and mathematics. 6.75 skilling labs and for simulator learning environment. Skilling e-labs and virtual labs will be set up with the objective to promote a simulator learning environment and critical thinking. The budget financial year 22-23 has allocated rupees 1,04,278 crore for the education sector, an increase of 11.86% compared to the revised 21-22. Gross allocation of rupees 93,223 crore. The allocation for Samagra Shiksha went up to rupees 37,383 crore in 22-23 from rupees 29,999 crore in 21-22. Higher Education Department budget has been increased by 6% from rupees 38,446 crore rupees in 21-22. Rupees 40,828 crore rupees in 22-23 as per the education budget. Now let us discuss health.
The health sector has been allocated rupees 86,200 crore in the union budget. A government also announcing a national telemental health program and roll out the open platform for the national digital health ecosystem. Out of the 86,200 crore rupees, 83,000 crore have been allocated to the Department of Health and Family Welfare, while 3,200 crore has been allocated to the Department of Health and Research. A national telemental health program will be launched to improve access to quality mental health counseling and core service. The program will be include a network of 23 telemental health center of excellence with National Institute of Mental Health Neuroscience being the nodal center and the International Institute of Information Technology Bangalore providing technology support. Thus, budget allocation for central sector scheme and projects like Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, National Digital Health Mission, National Health Mission, and the autonomous statutory and residuary bodies concerning to health sector has increased. Now we'll look into MSME.
MSME. The budget has welcomed the MSME sector wholeheartedly as India is coming out gradually from the impact of pandemic. This sector is responsible for around 45% of country's total manufacturing output, 40% of the export, and almost 30% of national GDP. Over next 5 years, the government intends to roll out rupees 6,000 crore worth program to rate MSMEs. For infusion of funds in the sector, Credit Guarantee Trust for MSME is set to revamp and will ensure the allocation of 2 lakh crore more to the growth of the sector. India's MSME sector is rapidly moving towards a high degree of digitization. The power of Udyam and GST combined can transform the credit to MSME sector. Udyam, e-Ashram, National Career Services, and ASIM portals will be interlinked with an intent to help the widen the scope of services they offer. Having dealt with the demonetization of GST, the credit squeeze preceding pandemic, and then the COVID pandemic, the MSME sector was need to support, and the Union Budget 22-23 has provided the exactly. Now we look at the tax proposals.
Union Budget 2022 has brought tax relief for those who invest in capital assets other than equity funds and listed stocks. Since our country gets most of the revenues from the taxes, for every rupee in the government coffer, 58 paisa to come from taxes. As presented by our financial minister, 15 paisa comes from personal income tax, 15 paisa comes from corporate tax, 16 paisa come from goods and services tax, and 7 and 5 paisa come from union excise duty and custom duty respectively. Our Finance Act, that is budget, introduces changes to apply taxes every year. Some of them are as follows. You can file your income tax return in the time period of 2 years from the end of your assessment year. New surcharge is levied on long-term capital gain at the rate 15%. Deduction of employer contribution towards National Pension Scheme account is increased up to 14% for state government employees. Earlier, it was 10% of basic pay of employees. Taking into consideration of global pandemic and in the benefits of taxpayers, the payment for medical treatment of a COVID patient of a family is exempted. Corporate taxation. To control the gains of virtual digital currency users or the assets users, government introduced a 30% flat rate tax on such gains and there will be no deduction allowed except cost of acquisition. The virtual digital assets may include cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and others. The startup incentives which were earlier introduced to the startup companies in India is extended for the next financial period. The domestic companies which were engaged in manufacturing of goods and services in India, the tax rate of 15% is extended till 31st March 2024. GIFT IFSC, International Financial Services Center. World-class foreign universities and institutions to be allowed in the GIFT City. GIFT City is located in Gujarat. An international arbitration center to be set up for timely settlement of disputed under international jurisprudence. Indirect taxes. The tax that changed the regime of indirect taxes in India, GST, Goods and Service Tax. Major changes has been brought in GST system. Some of them are GST revenues are buoyant despite the pandemic. Taxpayers deserve applause for this growth. The time limit related to claim of ITC, insurance of credit note, rectification of errors in statement of outward supply and returns, and rectification of tax collected at source return increased up to 30th November. GSTR 3B is a self-declared summary GST return filed every month shall be only filed with GSTR 1, which is the monthly statement of outward supplies to be furnished. Registration as a taxable supplier can be cancelled if returns are not furnished for a period as may be prescribed. Custom duty. Customs administration of special economic zones to be fully IT driven and functions on the customs national portal shall be implemented by 30th September this year. Faceless customs has been fully established during COVID-19 pandemic. Customs formations have done exceptional frontline work against all odds, displaying agility and purpose. More than 350 exemption entries proposed to be gradually phased out, like exemption on certain agricultural produce, chemicals, fabrics, medical devices, and drugs and medicines for which sufficient domestic capacity exists. Unblended fuel to attract rupees 2 per litre from October 2022 to encourage blending of fuel. Custom duty on cut and polished diamonds and gemstones being reduced to 5%, and nil custom duty to simply sewn diamond to give a boost to the gems and jewelry sector. Now we will look into allocation to major schemes.
Any political party which forms government at the center has certain social, political, and economic responsibilities. In countries with deep cultural, religious, and economic diversity like India, it is extremely important for the government to allocate resources wisely. Various factors such as uplifting the underprivileged sections of the society, facilitating financial inclusion, mitigating regional disparities, upgrading defense capabilities, providing proper educational facilities, and much more need to be focused on. Therefore, a well-planned budget is of utmost importance for any government to ensure economic stability and growth. The ministry-wise allocations have been depicted, and the highest allocations have been done in the Ministry of Defense. And these are the allocations to the major scheme wherein we can see the allocations have increased to the major central sector schemes. Now we'll have a look into the challenges or the concerns or areas neglected in this year's budget.
While observing that India's economic growth is in the current year is estimated to be 9.2%, the finance minister remarked India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and it has entered into the Amrit Kal, that is the 25 years long period leading up to India's at its 100. Thus, the budget lays a blueprint for 25 years, which is a futuristic and inclusive and provides for a big investment for modern infrastructure, which will be ready when India will be at its 100th year. But also, there are some concerns and few neglected areas in the budget. Increasing protectionist trend and continued differentiation in the import duties, minute rate differences and taxing the inputs at the lower rate increases the effective rate of protection and thus the adversely impact of competitiveness and gives rise to the special interest groups lobbying for higher import duties. The government fiscal deficit, that is 6.4%, was a cause of concern. In the financial year 22, the government is rupees 1 trillion short of its disinvestment target and has incurred capital expenditure to absorb some of the year India's liability. Thus, but the budget spent more on the providing direct financial support to the various sections of society. This will worsen the fiscal deficit further. The excessive protection and reservation given to MSME might prevent them from becoming the bigger and take advantage of scale economy. Capital expenditure has a long gestation period and expected benefits to common people may take time to acquire. When all the other engines of growth are struggling, the investment cycle might not be sustainable. The government should have looked at putting more money in the hands of people. For instance, the government missed out the introduced the urban version MG Narega, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, and cutting the high excise duty on the petrol and diesel. Several critics have argued that the government should have spent more on the healthcare sector as we observe the high suffering of people during the 2 years of pandemic. On taxation side, there has not been any major giveaway that may have been expected. It seems that the budget has neglected the puzzling crisis of unemployment and underemployment. Now, we look from our perspective, what changes should be done to improve Indian economy?
We think that these are some of the changes that needs to be undertaken to improve the Indian economy. Despite the hype regarding the union budget, almost 60% of the actual spending is at the state level. Hence, the state should implement the policies and undertake the allocated spending wisely. Here are some of the ways to improve economy. The top priority for India now is creation of jobs. Many have lost their jobs during the pandemic. Along with infrastructure, health and tourism are the two other sectors that have huge employment generating potential. Hence, the government has to work on these sectors too on top priority. Linking some of the PLI incentives to job creation would have been something worth trying. The GST Council must now engage in more decisive action in broadbanding, inverted duty structure, and including the areas which are excluded, as well as improving all-round compliance. Apart from that, public outlay on health has remained somewhat static. The government has to increase the allocation to the health sector to reap compoundable benefits. Faster implementation of delayed programs of BharatNet scheme for providing high-speed digital connectivity to all villages should be undertaken. Innovative steps to garner private investment through guarantees and regulatory changes are important. By and large, Budget 22-23 is in desired direction, that is, it focuses on improving the supply side in the given circumstances. It has also presented a 25-year blueprint, but the impact of budget on the economy and implementation of the blueprint will depend on the efficiency with which the various proposals are implemented. This was all about the budget, what we thought. Thank you.
Coming to the end of our sessions, I would like to thank you, our HOD, Dr. Supriya Patil ma'am, who is giving us such a precious time for us, and also our professor, Dr. Shamla ma'am, who have been encouraging us for every time for taking up to such activities. And also, I would like to thank you, Professor Ms. Ritu ma'am and Professor Behsani sir, who have guided and supported us through our journey. So as we know, no event can be successful without people who dedicate their resources and time to make sure everything is flawless. So I would like to thank you, my class, my team, and also my classmates. So now we happily announce that we are done with our project. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Supriya ma'am? Yeah. Supriya ma'am is there? Ma'am? I think Supriya ma'am is not there. She must have left. Oh, thank you for your really informative and extensive presentation. The only thing is that yes, you have presented, you've prepared, you did but do you understand every point of it, whatever you did it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Yeah, that should be important, because that is important. So if you've done it knowingly, it adds on to what you did it. Wonderful effort, and congratulations for this thing. And I'm really happy to have a very nice presentation, which is such a detailed one. Really appreciate it. So I usually don't give, but then yeah, मेरे इधर से नहीं होता है, but definitely this all for you here. Okay, right. Okay, so well done, guys. Very good effort, a clean presentation, and they were nothing like presentation was like nobody had any difficulty in presenting. They were just doing it. And it showed that they had well practiced over it and they knew what they were doing. This is how it goes. Great, good. Yeah, and I think ma'am is busy and she is not there in the team right now. And there are few students, I think only 1 or 2 from the second years have joined. But yeah, let us just ask them what are their views. Yes, Abhimanyu, are you there? Abhimanyu, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Abhimanyu, chalo. Students, your juniors have done an effort of presenting this. Now, as a senior, what do you feel and what did they do and how did they do? I want your opinion over it.
Good afternoon, ma'am. the efforts they put here in the budgetary session about the budgetary session was really good, informative, and descriptive also. They really done well, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
All
Yes,
the students
Sanjeevni.
done well.
Yeah. Sanjeevni, can you
Thank
please
you.
open up?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sanjeevni.
Yes,
Sanjeev.
ma'am.
Yeah, come on. I want you to give your opinion because you had a session last time and that was from an expert teacher, but this time you have something from your own fellow mates. How do you feel?
Yes, ma'am. It was great, ma'am.
Don't
And
you really think
the
most of your
presentation was
classmates should
very,
have joined, right?
yes, ma'am.
Since you are one of the ones who have done well and you've been attending, any more additions you would like to make? Sanjeevni?
No, ma'am. They have done very good presentation, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Ma'am,
Thank you so
just a
much.
word. I think in our class we should learn this. How
Sorry? Sorry, Abhimanyu, I couldn't get you.
in our class about our semester student, we should learn from the juniors, ma'am. How they are participative and how
Nothing
they
wrong
really,
if you learn few things. When
yes,
this initiation came from them, the idea was wonderful. And we thought we could do it. Like, I mean, they could do it and they should be doing it. And exactly, like, I know you are in your fourth semester and you are very much angry with the system, but we couldn't just help. We had to do online. There was no other way. But then, yes, you can do online when you really make an effort and we can just do it the same like the way we couldn't see you, we've not seen this kids also, right? But yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, thank you guys. And one more I saw, actually, I think Rupali is also here. I hear Rupali is here. I saw Rupali also.
no, ma'am, she's not.
No, she's not there. Ahir Varish, no. What's her name from your
Raju.
class?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, there were 2 to 3 students also, but they left due to some reason. Brunal was there, Vaishali was there.
Ah, I saw Vaishali. Mrunal was there. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, she was there.
Good. At least you guys gave your feedback, and that counts a lot for the juniors. Yeah. Okay. So just a final call. I'll make it to ma'am so that we can just wind up in case if she wants to join. Okay. Just a final call I'll make. And in case if comes, we'll have to repeat the thanks once again. Okay. Yeah. Somebody, Comguest 3.
Yes,
Please.
excuse me, yeah. Ma'am, I would like to add something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So again, I would like to congratulate the students. They have done a really good job, and I would want you to keep this work up. It's not just that ek bar you have done it, just you've done it once and you've got the appreciation. So you should not settle for this. We would want you to come up with these ideas every now and then, because that shows your teamwork, that shows your collaborated effort and initiation. So that is what we want you to do in the rest of the year also. So I would like to congratulate that.
Well said. I'm with you. Well said. Well said. Yeah. क्या हो जाता है ना, हमेशा मैं बोल बोल के थक गई हूँ ऋतु. I wanted some young guys also to do it. Well said, Ritu.
Yeah, so
and guys,
it's
what she
very
said,
nice.
please take it seriously. Ma'am
Yes.
is joining, and I want you to please repeat the thanks again. Yeah, ma'am is here. Please thanks kar dijiye. Sairaj.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Ma'am, they did a good job. You should see the recording. They tried to really present it. There was a flow. They touched almost all the sectors. They also spoke about what are the, things which are not considered in this budget, and ended up in a very finer manner, ma'am. Yes. But as Ritu just added, like a real thing. She said that just don't end yourself doing this. You cannot just say that you did one, you got good appreciation, but you should keep continuing this. This is something she really did say nice. Yeah. So yeah, Sairaj, come on.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure. Coming to the end of our sessions, I would like to thank you, our HOD, Dr. Supriya Patil ma'am, who's really giving us their precious time, as well as and our professor, Dr. Shamla ma'am, who have been encouraging us to do everything for taking up such activities. Also, I would like to thank you, Professor Ms. Ritu ma'am and Professor Besane sir, who have guided and supported us through this journey. So, as we know, no event can successful without people who dedicate their resources and time to make sure everything is faultless. So, I would like to thank you, my team, and also everyone who's listening and giving their precious time to us. So I happily announce our budget session, our budget presentation is done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ma'am, I want to say something.
May I speak?
Yeah.
Like I just said when we started the meeting, this is a fantastic initiative. And all of you coming together and making such a wonderful presentation on a current affair, an issue that is so important to us, is really heartening to know. What I would also say like just ma'am said, is that this is just the beginning of your career and beginning of all these sessions. I'm looking forward to you people taking up many more current topics which affect us, affect our industry, and then give us such lovely presentations. So excellent job, team. Wonderful job here. And I hope you have inspired the remaining classmates that they will also take up topics, some relevant topics, and give such wonderful presentations. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, should we end it then now? Should we end it?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am?
We'll end the meeting.
Yes, Shivani, bolo.
Ma'am, could you please open up the camera? We all want to take screenshot of it.
Oh, screen share. Yeah, sure, why not? Done?
No, ma'am, you can't be seen.
I'm not seen?
No. Yeah, that's better.
I think I'm seeing the faces for the first time.
Yes.
Done, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much,
I'll
ma'am.
end the meeting.
Bye.
Bye. I'll end the meeting.
See you soon again.
Yes, with something different. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Ending the meeting.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.